of 2020. My name is Dr. Sam, and I am so excited to be ending our KDP webinar journey with Deborah Asamo. She is an amazing, purposeful, passionate educator here today we're going to be focusing on the why, focusing on your why, and the W, the H, and the Y and Y all stand for something. I know I love a good acronym. I hope you guys do too. And I know today's presentation is going to be amazing. But let me share a little bit about Deborah before she hops on and shares her great information. So Deborah is known as the Purposeful Educator over on Instagram. You can go follow her. I recommend doing that like now because she is amazing. She is a teacher coach and she works to help K through 12th grade teachers find clarity, maximize productivity, and upgrade professionally to boost their careers in and out of the classroom. Deborah is the founder of the Purposeful Educator, which is a teacher coaching platform that provides a wide range of services and resources. PPE, the Purposeful Educator, focuses on helping teachers find absolute clarity in their purpose and chosen profession, develop a wide range of skills to generate a more productive teaching lifestyle, and build their professional profile so they can remain versatile, current, and relevant educators. I don't know about you, but I know Deborah is an expert in this area, and I'm excited to have her join us. Deborah, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much, Sam, for inviting me again. I really appreciate it. I'm so happy to be here.
You. All right, go for it.
All right. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Deborah Asamo, and I am the founder, just like Sam said, of the Purposeful Educator. But I'm excited to be here with you guys, and I'm excited about today's topic and to dive right into it. So here we go. Also, if you have any questions, definitely feel free to post them in the question box. I believe there's a question box there so that Sam and I can look at the questions and be able to answer them if possible, if we have time, and so that Sam can also redirect the questions to me and then I can answer you later. And we'll get to all of that later on throughout the entire presentation. So we're going to be focusing on your why. Sorry that I used the word twice, but every time that I talk or speak with teachers, I really enjoy starting off with a quote because I really believe in how the power of quotes can really redirect the way that you think and can really change your perspective. So I want to start off today's webinar with this quote: "What a teacher is more important than what he or she teaches." And this quote was by Carl Menninger. I hope I pronounced his name properly, but this quote really speaks to what we're going to be talking about today because of the importance of having a reason for what you're doing, the importance of having direction, a focus. A little bit of an introduction about me. I am certified, TEA certified, and in NYU graduate. I've authored a bunch of pieces and spoken on some platforms with educators around the world. So I'm really excited and happy to have the opportunity to do so, and especially to you guys right here, right now. And as Sam said, my focus as a teacher career coach is to help teachers find their clarity, maximize productivity, and upgrade their profession so that they can become much more transformative educators within the classroom space and outside of the classroom space as well. So focus on your why. So when we talk about focusing on your why, we're not just thinking about the word why, as in why do I teach or why am I here? So we've broken it down, or should I say I've broken it down into three beautiful acronyms that are very easy to remember that I think will help to guide you as you think about the word why and how you can expand that word to mean so much more as an educator. So when we're talking about focusing on your why, we're going to talk about specifically what knowing and understanding your why does for your classroom career. So there are three acronyms that we're going to be talking about. But before we dive into those acronyms, I just want to leave you with another quote that says, "The best thing about being a teacher is that it matters." Okay, the hardest thing about being a teacher is that it matters every single day, by Todd Whittaker. And honestly, I really think this quote is very important to remember because when you're thinking about your why, you have to constantly remember it. You have to constantly push yourself to allow it guide you. How can you use that position every day to make a difference in the lives of your students, even in the lives of your coworkers or your administrators. You know, it really isn't just about those who are in the classroom. So we're going to be focusing on three different topics that by the acronym WHY. So focusing on W first, what impact do you want to make? When you're thinking about why, you're not only thinking about why am I in the classroom, like I said previously, the best way to think about that question or for it to make the most meaning to you is what impact do you want to make? And there are a few ways that you can think about this question. Number one, think about why you chose this particular profession. Why did you choose to be a teacher? Why does the classroom career call to you? Why is it something that you have decided to select as a career path? Is it the only thing you want to do, or do you have a bigger passion that follows along that direction? Or is it, you know, a placeholder, for instance? You know, you have to ask yourself a bunch of questions to help you think about why exactly you chose to be a teacher. Do you love teaching? Is it something that you're burning with passion about, or is it just a placeholder for you to, you know, move on to something else? You really have to be able to answer that question for yourself in order to make the kind of impact that you desire to make. You have to think about what draws you to the classroom. So it's not enough to just have passion about teaching. It's not enough to just love teaching. Okay, you have to have something that draws you into the classroom. Personally, for me, I have a bunch of things that draw me into the classroom that some of them can be, or should I say, feel superficial, and then some of them are actually very important. For example, I love colors. Okay, I love crafty things. I love creating things out of nothing. I love being able to create a space that that embodies a sense of creativity and allows people to think outside of the box. So for me, the classroom is a beautiful space, is the exact representation of what I desire to have personally, and what I personally want children to experience as well. And then another thing is within the classroom, what draws me to the classroom is the kind of impact that I can make, the kind of change that I can make in the lives of my students, regardless of where they're coming from, regardless of where they want to go, regardless of who they are. Okay, so you have to think about what draws you into the classroom. It may not only just be wanting to make an impact, it could also be wanting to change the way uh, English is taught, for instance. It could be that you want to revamp the system of students learning how to read and write in a way that improves their language skills, in a way that steps up their game when it comes to desiring to read books. You know, it could be basically anything, but you have to think about what draws you into that. And a good way to think about it is, are you excited about what can be achieved within that classroom space? When you step into your classroom, whether it's empty right now, whether it's fiction, whether it's all in your head right now, or whether you know, you've already filled it up with a bunch of things and you're in the middle of the school year, regardless of where you are at your teaching stage right now, when you step into this space, what do you think about when you're trying to see what can be done within that classroom, what can be achieved, what goals can be set, what desires can be had within that classroom? You know, what makes you excited about achieving those things when you're looking at that space, and what is your biggest dream for that space? So it's really important to ask yourself that question when you're thinking about the impact that you want to make. Another thing is that you need to think about the effects that you want your teaching to have. Okay, so it really, to me, it's really important to accept the type of teacher you are. So are you a teacher-centered teacher, or are you a student-centered teacher? You really have to hone down on that and to decide for yourself what best way that you teach. I personally always encourage teachers to try student-centered teaching, because it does show a lot more positive impact on the students, and in ways that is not only reflecting in their academics, it reflects also in a holistic type of education that I believe that children need, and that a lot of our students are needing nowadays, because they don't get much of that other type of education, maybe at home or within the communities that they live in. So think about the effects that you want to have with your teaching. Do you want your teaching to just be monotonous in a way that you're just giving out lectures and that's it? Or do you want to build relationships with your students, wholesome relationships, that is, relationships that follow the law, but that also benefit the child, or the students that you have, the children that you have in your classroom? So really think about how you're being flexible. Are you flexible and consistently upgrading your skills? It's one thing to want to be a certain type of teacher and to want to have your teaching make a certain type of impact or change in your students, but it's another thing to actually work on the skills that will help you to achieve those goals. So are you being flexible when you're trying to teach? Are you being reflective of the way that you teach to see whether what you're doing actually achieves the goal that you want to that you have in your mind? Are you making an extra effort to upgrade your skills? Are you taking advantage of free webinar content? Or, for example, you are, because I believe that you are. Since you are here, I believe that you are definitely one of those who are taking advantage of that. But are you also going a step further? Because free content, free webinars, they give information, but they don't give enough because we don't have enough time to really go deep into a lot of things. And so, are you taking that extra effort to go out of your way to see how much you can invest in your own skills that are not promoted or given by your school district or wherever you are right now? So you need to think about all of that and how you're building the skills that you personally need. What kind of change do you desire for your students to experience, or even possibly more than what you're thinking after they leave your classroom? Remember, the classroom is where you are personally, or should I say, you have a duty to equip your students to be able to move on and move further. Are you focused on your students having a holistic learning experience? Are you equipping them with the skills that they need to be successful wherever they go, like I said, outside of your classroom? So even when they graduate, elementary, when they enter into high school, when they graduate that, are you equipping them with skills that will help them towards the future? Are you equipping them with mental and emotional stability that will help them as they grow? So think about all of those questions as you are wanting to make an impact in your classroom. The next acronym, H. How are you building your impact? This is a very important thing to think about. So you've decided that you want to make an impact. So you've thought of the type of impacts that you would desire, or should I say you desire to make. Apologies that I'm stammering today. But you've thought about the impact that you want to make in your classroom. You've thought about all of those things. So how are you moving towards that? Like I said before, are you making purposeful steps into investing into your skills? Are you constantly reflecting on what's going on within your classroom right now? So there are three things that I want to point out really quickly. And like I said before, professional investments. One of the biggest contributions to you reaching your desired teaching goals is continuous learning with an open mind. You can spend all the money in the world on different courses, different programs. You can gain different degrees, or should I say, you can earn different degrees and all of that. But if you don't have an open mind as you're going through all of that process, it's not going to be as impactful or beneficial to you as it would be if you keep an open mind. Having an open mind doesn't mean that you should abandon your beliefs. It doesn't mean that you should abandon the standards that you have. Hold on to your beliefs, hold on to your standards, but don't close the door to other ways of thinking or opportunities just because you don't understand them, just because you haven't taken the time to see the direction they're coming from. Always have an open mind to see the way things are being done around you so that you can decide for yourself whether it's going to be beneficial to you in your classroom or not. The second thing is mentorship and coaching. Super important when you're thinking about how you want to build your impact. I always like to reflect back to superheroes when I think about mentorship and coaching. You always have the superhero who's there to save the day. For example, Spider-Man, and the Flash and all of that stuff. I'm sorry, I'm a huge superhero fan. Type into the chat box if you're a superhero fan. I am. So I like to use this example because yes, you have that superhero who's swooshing in, saving the day, rescuing the damsel in distress, all of that, you know, even things like Cinderella. But if you think about the storyline, if you really dive deep into that, you will see that superheroes, they always have a sidekick, regardless of who that person is. It could be their mom, it could be their best friend, it could be someone that they met that has the skills that they need to, or should I say, require to do other things that they themselves cannot achieve. For example, the story of Cinderella, okay, that may not be a superhero story, but it is a fairy tale. And um, she didn't get to where she was all alone. She had the mice and the birds and all of that helping her. So sure, like I said before, think about the professors that you imagine, the people that have similar ideals as you do, have similar thought processes when it comes to the classroom. Get to them, talk to them some more, learn about their experience, ask them all the big questions that are hitting you right now. Or if you don't have any of that right now, definitely try to find teacher coaches that are out there that are willing to help you answer those questions, okay? Because it's super important. Specializing. I think it's really important to specialize when you're thinking about how to build an impact, okay? So as a teacher, yes, you are supposed to be able to do everything, okay? Everybody thinks you can do everything, but the truth is you can't. You can't do everything. And sometimes, or should I say most of the time, it is very, very important, especially for your career, for you to specialize in something. Now, that could be reading. You can specialize in a particular subject. You can specialize in a particular area, maybe ESL. Find something that you're passionate about still within education that you're drawn to, that you find yourself always thinking up ideas for. You know, find one of those things that really speaks to you within education and try to hone down on the skills that you need to be better at that particular area. So specialize. Every teacher has his or her own gifts and talents that make them significantly different from each other. Working on those specific skills help to promote desired career goals that positively impact the classroom. Okay, so it's really important that that is one of the things you're looking at when you're trying to build the impact that you want to make. The last acronym, WHY. Your passion for the classroom is unbreakable. Now, I know that word unbreakable can be a little controversial when it comes to the classroom life, and that is because the classroom life is, or should I say, can be super, what's the word that I'm looking for? Tiring. Maybe sometimes it can, there's a lot of burnout that can happen. There are so many things that can happen within the classroom life, okay? So when I use the word unbreakable, I don't mean that there aren't things that will try to push you out of enjoying the classroom life, that will try to break you, that will try to limit the way that you think, or diminish your passion, or maybe even try to quench your passion. But it is important to remember that your passion for the classroom, as long as you know teaching is what you love and is what you've desired to do, and it's where you want to be, you should always think that your passion is unbreakable, and there are certain things that you need to do to make sure that you always keep that in mind. So the first thing is you need to always keep in mind what to expect within the classroom space. There's so many things to expect when you're in the classroom space, but these are just a few of the very big prominent ones that pop up that usually come to discourage teachers a whole lot, especially when they're just starting out. So burnout, big one. Always expect burnout. Don't ever think that it's impossible for you to experience burnout. It will come. The important thing is if you know it's coming, you know how to prepare for it, you know how to get yourself out of it. Or if you don't know, find a teacher coach, find a mentor, learn about ways for you to get out of your burnout faster. That doesn't leave you scarred, that doesn't leave you tired or anything like that, but actually boosts your creativity and passion for what you do. Disappointment. There are going to be so many disappointments on the way. I'm sorry to quench that flame in your heart right now. I don't mean to do that. It shouldn't quench your flame, to be honest. But reality is there will be disappointments on the way. For example, funding is a huge thing, a huge problem that a lot of teachers experience. And because of lack of funding, you may not get what you want for your classroom. You may not get the experience that you want your students to have. And you have to roll with it. You have to learn how to roll with the punches of disappointment and overcome those punches. Insufficient funding, just like I said, you need to learn how to be flexible, to turn the tables, to find ways to fund what you need, to find ways to be resourceful with what you have surrounding you so that you can still achieve the goals that you have planned. Coworkers with less enthusiasm and no vision. This is a huge one, especially if you're a new teacher. You can come with all of the fire that you want, but sometimes when you do experience those coworkers, it can be exhausting. They can be people who complain every single day, and that brings negativity into the classroom. That quenches your fire quickly because you subconsciously learn how to be negative about your profession, and then you have no drive towards it. Inadequate environment is a huge one as well. So always keep that in mind when you're thinking about how to protect your passion. And then how to keep that passion. Set personal goals. Guard your mental space. Build your resistance towards negativity and keep a record of your achievements. That is a very big one. When you keep a record of your achievements, no matter what goals that you set that you weren't able to reach, no matter how much your mental space is being invaded by negativity, no matter how hard it is to build your resistance towards negativity, if you have that record, you can always reflect back on that record and it will encourage you. It will ignite that fire for you and you can push on towards the goals that you have. So lastly, I want to remind you, ask questions. It is not a bad thing to ask questions. Nobody knows everything, and you can learn so much by just asking. So always feel free to ask. Like I always tell my teacher clients and teachers that follow me, feel free to ask me questions about the classroom, about coaching. I'm always available and free to ask, but ask the people around you as well and get different perspectives so that you can find the desired goals that you want to make. But biggest thing is when you do ask those questions, make up your own mind, okay? Don't just blindly follow what people suggest or say about the classroom. Yes, they could be right. Maybe they could be wrong. It depends. But make up your own mind on what you want to do about your classroom and follow that through. If it ends up right, then you know you're on the right track. And if it ends up going wrong, then you know, okay, you tried that path and it didn't work out, so you need to find a different direction. Okay? So it won't be perfect. Teaching will not be perfect. It will be hard, but there is joy in it. There is so much to receive from it. So don't be scared of it. You can do more than you think you can. Okay, so you can do more. You can survive it. Okay, and you can make a significant difference even as a first-year teacher, especially to my student teachers who are attending this webinar. Okay, so we've come to the end of this presentation.
Yeah, so let's just continue to focus on that why. I was just about to copy and paste in the W.H. and the Y, what impact you want to make, how you're going to build your impact, and the passion for that classroom. And I know passion is just one of Deborah's strengths. I love her passion, her purpose, and we can see that her why is very much focused on raising up K-12 educators in their classrooms and in their spaces. All right, so the Purposeful Educator provides teacher coaching services using quality and appropriate teacher prep, content, and professional development resources. They leverage online technology and in-person services to avail teachers anywhere to benefit from the resources offered. Their goal is to enable teachers to become effective catalysts in knowledge dissemination and equip them to independently build a successful professional career with the classroom and beyond. And you guys can connect over on Instagram with Deborah. She's at the Purposeful Educator over on Instagram to see what kind of freebies she has going on for this webinar. And she is an amazing teacher coach. So go check her out over on Instagram, connect with her there, ask any questions or any comments you have about today's presentation. Deborah did an awesome job. I love learning from you, and I love seeing what our participants are sharing in the chat and in the Padlet as well. All right, friends, this is our last KDP webinar for 2020. It has been a blast getting to know each of you.